Hello everyone, you're welcome to a Joy Sports special. We're having a conversation with a teacher, a businessman, a football administrator, one man who has seen it all within various spheres of his life. He had once contested or wanted to contest for the position of president of Ghana Football Association. After a while, he felt that he had grown within the football space and he had the right knowledge to spearhead the administration of football in Ghana, but unfortunately it never went his way. I'm sure right now many of you are beginning to guess who that man is. He's been into football for the last 22, 23 years, if my mathematics are right. But he's here, he'll give us the right figures. He is Wilfred Kwaku, and he's talking to us on a variety of issues, how he got into football, how Tema Youth came into the picture, and the current leadership of the Ghana Football Association. I am Muftawu Nabila Abdulai, and I welcome you to Joy News. Pama, thank you very much for your time. How are you doing?
Oh, very well. It's been very long since I spoke on football-related issues.
Yes.
And it was for strategic reasons.
We are honored. We are honored you've opened to speak to us.
It's always a pleasure to speak on football, because that is what livens my soul.
But many times, I know we'll come to that, but many times you keep saying you quit football, but you're not quitting.
Ask any football administrator or philanthropist, and they will tell you that we do call it quits on regular basis, especially when you're upset by something. But some few hours, you are back.
Then why do you say it in the first place? If you know you're not going to quit, why do you say it?
It's out of emotions. And I learned something from an elderly person, that when you are emotional, you just keep quiet, don't talk. And make sure the dust settles before you pass your comment.
Doesn't mean that the number of times you've said, oh, I'm going to quit football, I'll quit football, I have quit football. You acted based on your emotions, and you shouldn't have made those comments in the first place.
It's desirable for you to pass such comments. If you are being frustrated by specific group of persons, that this club will frustrate the club and make sure that this club doesn't qualify to play in the Premiership. I don't remember Kwesi's time I was part of any cabal to frustrate a team from qualifying. So why would somebody say that we are doing mafia? No, if it's mafia, you take it elsewhere, not me. If I have been able to build a solid team, I don't see why you should frustrate me. 2 seasons ago, we qualified. Tema Youth qualified because we had 2 points more than Accra Lions. This is where they did the legal somersault, ruled or took a decision on the same matter, but in a different way. And the advice from the appeals committee was that they have to take it to Congress because there's a lacuna. So they have to take it to Congress for amendments to be made. Why that? Because you had ruled earlier on the same matter, and points were deducted. But in this particular regard, we were directed for the points to be added. And when we checked out the ripple effect of the decision of the appeals committee, Tema Youth had lost 2 points to bring us at par with Accra Lions for a decision to be made on head-to-head basis. And it's bizarre.
But you could have contested this as far as you, because we know you.
I shot myself when I tried to file this process at CAS. You know, they had introduced the e-filing, and it was the first time that I had had access to it. And any attempt that I made within a 3-day period, all returned that the file is empty. the file is empty. No, I had paid for my filing fee. I had paid for everything that there is to be paid at CAS. Then send the email of my appeal brief, and I expected CAS to proceed on that. But unfortunately, it's their system, and the feedback was that since we failed to lodge it in the e-filing, they couldn't proceed on the matter. I accepted it in good faith, but I was deeply hurt.
How painful was that?
Very, very painful. Because when you invest in any venture, you expect the investment to grow a year or two. And I felt the players that we had been able to develop over the period were ready for the premiership. This year, we had to go through the same, mafia work. We played Nania, knowing so well that our next match was Kotoku. The referees were brought from Eastern Region. All the 4 referees were brought from Eastern Region. Meanwhile, over the period that the league had operated, they will bring one referee from Central Region, the other assistant referee will come from Eastern, the other one will come from. And this was the case where we were competing with a club from Eastern Region. But how come that 4 referees will come from the Eastern Region?
But a referee can come from Eastern Region and still be fair.
No.
Why?
The moment the appointment was made, people started calling that this guy will do you in. I said, wow. I have never been to a technical meeting or pre-match. This particular one, I went. This did not stop the referee from showing 2 red cards to my players. Then 8 solid yellow cards or cautions.
If the yellow cards or red cards are deserving,
I wouldn't say so. One of the red cards, it was a genuine red card. But the other one, how can you show red card to a player who has, if a ball hits your thigh and your hand, it's ball to hand. How can you show even a card for that offense? Because it's not deliberate. You show the card and a subsequent red card. You don't do that.
Farmer, we'll come back to this conversation.
So it's very frustrating.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. But first of all, how did you get into football in the first place?
I started with school football, St. Augustine's. I don't know what came over me, but whilst teaching accounting and business-related courses at St. Augustine's, I felt I could coach. Well, I had played football. At the school level. I also played coach up to Division 2 then. Those times we didn't have Premier. It was Division 2 and Division 1. And if you go to Committee 8 and you ask of me, Pama, or you mention the code name SIC, they will say it's football. That is what I've lived on. And on campus, as Kebas, I used to sponsor a team called AC Milan. We're playing into a league.
Maybe intercommunity football?
Yeah, a league between 2 halls, Atlantic and Oberhall.
Oh, okay.
And I used to own AC Milan. So I don't know whether it was by divine intervention or what. Maybe God was directing me that this is what you have to do immediately after school. I never even took notice of it. Until 1993, when I went to do my OCTP, off-campus teaching practice at St. Augustine's. And I saw the school team and told the PE masters that I could coach the team. I'd never done coaching before. They gave me the opportunity, and for 3 consecutive times, I qualified St. Augustine's to represent the region in Milo Championship. We also qualified for the VACO tournament. And that should tell you the kind of job that I did there. Makalesian, Matuama, Antonio Bodai, Ishmanado, Dombote, they all passed through my hands. And I cherish those moments.
So you had football in your DNA since you were born?
It's more than my DNA.
What else then?
I mean, I don't know what to say when it comes to football. I quite remember a lady asked me I should choose between football and her. And I said I would choose football.
Oh!
Yeah. Because if you bring yourself to the level of football, I will choose football.
Why?
You see, when I elevate
you chose football over
yeah,
a lady.
when I elevate you above something,
yes,
and you bring yourself up to football level, I will choose football.
So it means that until something is about football, you will not choose that thing over football.
You give me football and God, I will choose God. Are you with me? But God cannot bring himself up to the level of football. It's about football.
So how did Tema Youth come into the picture?
We're playing what we call Munchendi in Tema. I'll gather some few players like Edward Afum, Yaya Mohammed, Kwa Benson, Nana Yao to go and play Munchendi. We got to a point, Tema Youth, Brekum Chelsea, and Bechem United should have ended up being one club. But I told my other investors, that is Agama and Treme, that Tema boys, they don't do well when they go outside Tema. So I would advise that we should go our separate ways. Then at a given point, we can bring the synergic effect onto whatever we're doing. Treme thought I was joking. I started the project, Tema Youth. Then I said, I didn't know that you were serious. I said, oh, that's what I intend doing. So he joined me.
So you, Agama, and Treme were like friends, right?
Yeah, friends.
So
we'll bring guys together and play football just for the entertainment aspect of it. Bechem United was not a club. Then Brekum Chelsea was also not a club.
So it means that you started with Tema Youth before
before
Treme joined,
yeah.
And then Agama too also set up Bechem United.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But there was a conversation of how you bought a football club and all that. In fact, it went as far as cars. What happened? It's where you have a certain history at cars.
So that's what happened. I approached Qatar, a very good friend. The current Abu Abri.
The current RFA chairman?
RFA chairman
for
Greater Accra. Yeah. That I needed a club to buy. I wanted to buy a club. Then he proposed Ophir Youngsters. We went in not knowing somebody had expressed interest in Ophir Youngsters and paid. Made advance payment. We didn't know. It happened at our blind side. So when we finally fully paid for Ophir Youngsters, Sportsnet took us to court. It was Justice Ahmed Tanko, who was our lawyer, and that is where I cherished him.
Which year was this?
Within 15 minutes, that was 2005. Okay. Within 15 minutes, you could read the document to see where the flaws were. So he went and he considered to the alternative relief. The alternative relief was that if you cannot get me the club, then give me back my money. So he said, Honorable Judge, I'll plead to the alternative relief. And the alternative relief was satisfied. And we had our club. So the league started 3 matches without Tema Youth.
How much did you pay for it then?
If I'm not lying, it's less than 10,000 Ghana cedis. I should think so.
Yeah, 10,000.
Yeah, those times.
But those days,
yeah, it was good. It was good money.
It was some good money. But you've been rich for a while.
No. I've been a hustler since the days. I wasn't born with a silver spoon in my mouth. Whatever I've been able to achieve, acquired, it was through my sweat and toil, and I enjoy that. I don't think I would have made it up to this level if I was pampered. I saw the need for me to strive hard to achieve so many things in life, and I went for it. I started my investment banking project, and that's what fetched me the needed money to support my football project.
So it means that you went into investments, and that was the genesis of. I'm a solid investment analyst or financial analyst. Then you should be teaching some of us.
That's why when I can look at financial statement within maximum 20 minutes, I should be, I should be done with it. And I can tell you whatever is in it. As and when we progress, you will know. And the one to the Congress, yes, for instance, it was a 45-minute job that I did. And when you talk, people find, it pinches to the extent that people find it difficult to.
We'll come to that, but let's still stay on Tema Youth. 2005 to date, that's like 17 years, if my mathematics is
you are right.
Tell us about the journey of Tema Youth. How has it been like?
It's been topsy-turvy. Tema Youth has always been at the center of controversies. A small club. We came to the Premiership, and we had this legal suit staring at us. That is the Sportnet one. When we got to the Premiership, House of Folk versus Tema Youth, it brought the famous Otukwe issue. Emmanuel Clotte, we took the matter to CAS. At that time, GFA had not made provision in the statutes that when you are aggrieved by the grievance procedure at the FA, you can proceed to CAS. So the case could not see the day of light until we had issue with Dreams FC, Daniel Goza, and we took the matter to court. I knew Goza very well, so nobody could deceive me on that. And I promised the then chairman of the disciplinary committee that this matter will go as far as CAS. He thought I was joking.
Who was that?
Prosper Harrison.
The current executive, general secretary of the FA.
Yes. And that is why I'm told that there's a cliche at the FA saying that it's payback time.
You mentioned that Tema Youth it's been a club that has been engulfed with issues. Is it Tema Youth that is a litigant, or it is the owner of the club, Palmer, who is a litigant?
It is litigation that always seeks to find Tema Youth. Because if we are resting at our somewhere and trouble does not come, I don't think Tema Youth will go looking for trouble. But when you push me to the wall, that is where I will always bring a surprise at you. Kwesi will tell you, Palmer is always unpredictable. And it's my lecturer who tutored me to always not be predictable. When you are predictable, people can easily judge you. When I look at a matter and I know that you are not dealing diligently with me, I'll pursue it to the hilt. And my late mom would have attested to that. Even in the house, when she was fending for me, if she does something and it doesn't sit well with me, I'll approach her and tell her my peace of mind. And that is the real me. I think everybody should be original. You don't have to embellish issues and you allow things to go like that. No. The person has cheated. If he has cheated, why would you allow it to go? No. So people came promising all manner of things. I told them point blank that I'm not pursuing this for my personal, yes. I was doing that to state a case. And I always do that. Even recently, when we finished with the lake, there was a clear protest against Kotoku. People expected me to go and protest against Kotoku. So when I was approached, I said, why would I go and find trouble? After the protest, it's not my club that is going to qualify. So why would I go and everybody would say that I have something against Kotoku. And I don't think I'll bring the negative forces against me in that manner.
Has it been worth it investing in Tema Youth?
Oh, very, very. I've never regretted in doing so. Initially, it wasn't easy. At a point, we have to even credit the fuel that we are going to play matches with. It's not been easy. You have to sell a whole car before you can play a match at Brekum. And that should tell you how we have struggled financially to make sure Tema Youth operates at a certain level. But as we speak now, there is every effort to whatever we want to achieve. And I will leave them to Providence. Let God judge us.
The early days, how was it like balancing Tema Youth and getting your family acceptance that you're going to put my money into football?
It was hell. It was hell. They would send my case to me, and the question would be, Papa, what do you do for a living? I say, football. I'm a football administrator. Then they would tell you, Papa, football is a game. And I knew where the message was coming from.
Yeah.
But I was challenged and motivated that I will prove to these kids and the family that football is very lucrative depending on how you approach it. I never came into football for the fun of it. I came into football for the business and the football economy.
You know, you've always seen football as a business.
Oh yeah, it is a business. That is how come when I go to Congress, my eyes are red.
I remember reading a story about how you said that sometimes investing in football, but sometimes people will say you are mad to invest.
It's like a curse. I call it football curse. You buy a player, you nurture that player, the player will one day come to you and say, my contract is finished, I'm gone. And this is a player you took out of nowhere. But by the laws of the game or the regulations governing football, he's a free person by Bosman ruling. He's a free person after 3 or 5 years with you. And you say, why would I do that for another team to come and pick such a player? You go into football, you pay bonuses, you go and see a spiritualist, pray for me, you spend money. So you are spending money for your team to win, for you to go and pay the bonus. Does it make sense to you?
But are you suggesting that
if they lose, you are not paying bonus?
No, but are you suggesting that you engage spiritualists to pray for you to win?
Nabila, I'm a spiritual being. When you're about to eat, you pray to God for you to have a successful meal. So far as I live as a human being, I have to attend to my maker for good fortunes in every game that I play. I don't think it's a bad practice. If you're a Muslim, you go your Muslim way. And that is how Tema Youth has always been. I don't force Muslims to worship in Christian way.
So every single match, Tema Youth sees a spiritual.
It's not only Tema Youth. Every team.
No, but you are speaking as Tema Youth owner here.
Every team. Whoever will tell you we don't do
no,
it.
But as you do it doesn't mean that others will.
Even Barcelona, they do it. Barcelona. You remember this Leicester thing? Have you forgotten?
When the monks were
go to Barca, they burn candles, they do all manner of things. They're behind closed doors. You don't see what people think football is about the 90 minutes on the field of play. It goes beyond 90 minutes. Players the last time the focus was on Kudus. He was praying before a match.
Yeah.
And he was the man of the match, which means God heard his prayers. The South Americans, before they march onto the pitch, they'll bend, do sign of cross before they march onto the pitch. All these things are superstition. All these things are spiritual.
They are spiritual. But they don't pay money to people.
We have superstition. Who told you? We have superstition and we have spirituality of football. It's a whole topic. Don't let us veer off into that.
we will not veer off. But tell me pretty quick, how was it like getting your mother to accept that you should put money?
It wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. I quite remember one time he moved to NDK Financial Services, climbed the four steps high, and to Emmanuel Chireme to tell him that, why are you doing that to my son? You are here in your tie working. I wanted my son to be a banker, but he doesn't want. He says he wants to do football. The moment my mother left, Chireme called me and said, your mother came here. I said, to do what? To express her emotions about what you are doing. But we know what you are doing. You soldier on. I'll let your mom know that there is money in football. Unfortunately, she didn't live that long to realize what I got from football.
Have you made
Otherwise,
money
I would have solid money. Very good money. And we'll make more money.
How much have you made from football?
Oh, people that are come and start.
Yeah, no. It doesn't matter, but how much have you made from football?
Leave it as it is. But I've made good money. Yeah, I've made good money.
More than you've invested in Tema Youth?
Oh yeah, of course. You see, Tema Youth, we are not much cost driven.
If you are to approximate how much you've invested in Tema Youth, how much do you think you've invested in the club?
You mean Tema Youth?
Yes.
Oh, let me say about $1.5 million.
Within the 17 years?
Yeah, about $1.5 million.
And you've made 20 million euros?
No. I'll go close to 4
or 5 million euros?
That is cool.
That's quite some good money.
Oh, you have to.
But have you invested in something else?
We want an academy to take off on the ground. We are contemplating either leaving that project or selling off the land and buying an already established academy somewhere in the eastern region and run it. Because Nabila, football has moved on.
Tema Youth is already in that format. When people hear Tema Youth, it connotes dealing with
youthful
players.
Yeah.
So youthful players. So
it's because of my background at St. Augustine's.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I was dealing with schoolboys.
Yeah.
And I have every confidence in young chaps. I quite remember there was an older player. He had played House of Folk, Bafu, and all those things. He came to Tema Youth and I said, "Oh, but did you hear the club's name before you came? This is Tema Youth. We deal with youthful players." And it's good investing in that. You know who advised me to do that? The late Slightete. The late Slightete. Yeah, he was my mentor.
What are the most difficult moments running Tema Youth ever since you started?
That is from 2009 to 2011. All my other partners left when the Emmanuel Clottey issue cropped up. And this is where financially I wasn't strong. So you have to do lala sulala to more or less keep the club running. And it was tough. I sold my Nissan Premier to go and play a match at Brekum against Arsenal. Unfortunately, when I got there, they didn't even allow me to watch that game. They took me out of the stadium.
How did that happen?
They said, "We won't allow you to watch." So when I reflected and said, I've sold my whole car to come and play this match, yet I don't even have privy to see the match more. So they took me to the police station and I was listening to commentary. It was very, very hectic for me.
You know what? You'll hang it there. We need to come back and wrap up on Tema Youth and also graduate into how you got into the FA, became an executive committee member, became management committee member of the Black Stars for a while, before number 12 struck, and the current leadership of the Ghana Football Association. We are taking a quick break here on this special conversation, Joy Sports conversation with Wilfred Kwaku Osei, a businessman, a football administrator, and a teacher. Welcome back from the break to this special conversation on the Joy News channel. We are speaking to Wilfred Kwaku Osei, Palmer, an investor in football, a financial analyst, a football administrator, a businessman. He's a man of many paths. And just recently at the GFA Congress, he was having lots of issues in relation to the financial statement of the GFA. I remember when he told the auditors of the GFA that there's nothing like
accumulated fund.
There's nothing like accumulated fund. It's quite an interesting one, but we'll get there. Palmer, tell me, let's wrap up on the conversation of Tema Youth. The biggest export that you've ever had in the history of Tema Youth. But who has made you the most money?
Joseph Pinto. As one just off my head, it's Joseph Pinto.
How much did he bring to the club?
3 million euros. It was 2.8 million euros. We had to pay solidarity to other teams that trained. So I asked Fadama, got part of it. The cake. Yeah. Okay. So it's about 2.85 million euros. That's good money.
And the biggest export?
It's Thomas Partey. He went through unapproved routes. It was smuggled.
That story, do you mind sharing it?
Yeah, it was smuggled out of the country. But yet, at a given point, we said, no, we shouldn't go in with malicious intent. We should allow the boy to develop. And at a given point, when he finally moved to Arsenal, we all realized that we couldn't have sold him for what we got out of the boy in terms of solidarity, compensation.
So you made money from his move to Arsenal?
Yeah.
How much?
I say those that I owe.
1 million euros?
No, it's not up to 1 million.
About 800,000.
Let's put dollars.
$800,000.
Yeah, that's how much you could make out of it.
And then you made good money.
I have been fortunate.
After he went to an approved
You need that luck to run football. You need it. And God has been so kind to me. I'm most grateful.
If Tema Youth has given you so much, why did you get into the GFA in the first place?
It's the duty to serve at a given level. And I feel that I have a lot of resource up my sleeves to contribute to the running of football in the country. So in 2010 or so, I offered myself to be elected as executive committee member.
Yeah.
And it was fun. Chairman told me, oh, as for the executive committee, you are just at the bare level. I said, no, I would like to work. And I wasn't so much interested in the MCO elections, so I allowed it to stay as
MCO,
it is.
you meant the emergency committee?
Yeah. And the reason was very simple. I just entered the executive committee. I needed time to learn the ropes before I will offer myself for another challenge. That's how come I stayed as that for 8 solid years until Anas came to demise the FA. But it has been very, very, very fruitful. I've served on various committees, vice for under 17,
yeah,
chairman for the under 20, vice for the Blasters, and chairman for the Blasters. I served as the finance committee chairman for 7 solid years. And so when the FA financial
the FA
statement,
you that much to be managing
oh
the FA.
yeah, when the FA financial statement breached, I understand it because I've dealt with the bare numbers over a given period of time. But when we talk, instead of people to look at what you are critiquing, they rather see it from a political angle. I will not use corporate governance to do politics, as some people have done. And when we proceed, you will know that whatever happened...
Do you have regrets with your decision to get into the GFA?
Not at all.
Why?
Because I have achieved a lot.
Like?
I even mentioned the profile.
Oh, no,
the various national teams.
That's just a paper.
The chairman
that's
of
a paper.
And to be part of the process, I mean, to deal with the strategic business plan of the FE, there's no mean achievement. We gave it to a consultant, and we all saw that the consultant was struggling with it. Because you don't only have to understand strategic issues, but you have to understand football as a business. So we pointed it out to our colleagues that this plan cannot push us to the level that is expected of it. They accepted it. They said, okay, they formed the committee, and we projected the strategic business plan of the FA. These are things that I would like to deal with. And there are a whole lot of documents at the FA that we authored. Many
people claim that during your era as executive committee member, management committee member of the Black Stars, and there were quite some interesting moments during your era where Ghana was disqualified and even banned for a period.
We're not disqualified and banned.
We were banned for 2 years.
No. The first time Ghana
Isaac
was
Chum.
No. We're not banned. Go and refer to
for
it.
2 years.
No.
So why did we not take part in the
Why
did we not take part in the 2015 under 17 championship in Niger?
That is where we need to understand the CAF regulations. We're charged under a particular article, and that article, but for the fact that I didn't know that this will crop up, I would have quoted the exact. It was when you deliberately and willfully alter the records
of a player,
you are deemed to have what? To have cheated, engaged in a cheating. Isaac Trim, we did the MRI on Isaac Trim. Send the MRI, our Greek people say, organ in situ, as situated, to CAF.
Yeah.
CAF should have come back to GFA to say that, oh, the MRI report that we have of this player, he doesn't qualify to play. CAF never came until we played Cameroon in Yaoundé. When we returned, then they say, no, Chum cannot play in the next game. They brought another thing. But the rules, we pointed it out to them, the rules, very clear, that we conduct the MRI at the start of the what? Of the competition. But this was done midway or at the tail end of the competition, which was wrong. So when we pointed it out to them, that first MRI is not part of the CAF regulation,
yes, stating
stating that you have cheated, engaged in a cheating, so we cannot be deemed to have cheated. Then CAF wrote back to Ghana and you deem it that you have been eliminated from the competition. Ghana was never banned. We were eliminated from the competition. So in the subsequent U17, we participated.
But do you recall that you granted a couple of interviews,
yeah,
and insisting that we did nothing wrong?
Yeah, we did nothing wrong. Because we had gone to hire a radiologist.
Yes.
I know next to nothing about
radiology.
Yeah. Even the doctors, those in the medical fields, when they bring the report, they cannot read the report. Yeah, it's not their fault. You cannot blame them.
So you're not going to take a responsibility?
No. What do I know about radiology? You show it to me 100 times, I will not understand. So when they bring the report, who will use the report to work? The radiologist certified that the boy had MRI grade 3. This is what it was. And we worked with the grade 3. How can anybody fault me for that? What happened recently? You can fault the administrators for that.
we'll come to that point. But tell me a quick one. 7 years as the financial chairman of the FA, right? We were made to understand that you left the FA in debt. Huge amount of money. Even the secretariat, the land that the secretariat is situated, people were coming in for it.
Which land?
Where the GFA secretariat is situated.
It's never true. It's never true.
Pram. They said you people had issues with TTU stay and all that. Many issues. How come that, quote and unquote, a financial analyst left an association in such a huge financial debt?
Yes, I wouldn't like to borrow words to demean those who made those statements. But in finance, accounting, auditing, there is a simple theoretical understanding that everybody will have to have. For every debt, if there is an asset representing that debt, you are not deemed to have squandered the money. Pram, that land was acquired. Nabila, you cannot tell me GFA will just move from here, bypass all lands, go to a specific land that this is where we want to develop, if you are not being given access. The only thing that happened was that the family that we initially negotiated with was the wrong family.
You didn't do proper
we did our due diligence. The matter went to court. So it was after we had acquired, the matter went to court. The court decided that the land should be given to another party. That is how come the recent executives made payment to the new owner.
So it means that you've paid twice. The GFA has paid twice for it, because did you people also pay the other people?
You see, land acquisition or land tenure is a major issue in Ghana. If you don't, you wait until you work yourself into that difficulty. It wasn't deliberate. That we use good money. It was Yiti Mensah who led us to that. And it was acquired during Ben Kofi's time.
Yes.
Are you with me?
Yes.
And you are telling me we just went there for the sake of it. The last statement made by the current executive, it's unfortunate.
They say you never had documents to the land.
No, whilst we were there, we were also pursuing the same course to get the documents perfected.
But you had documents, but they were not perfected.
Yes. So if you come and in your time, we have been able to perfect the document. So, fortunately for us, we have perfected the document. Don't say that we have now been able to acquire. The moment you do that, then the demarcation you are making, if somebody had not gone for the demarcation to be made, well, how would you be able to acquire or perfect the document? You wouldn't have been able to do it. So let us give credit where it is due, rather than trying to belittle what the past executives had done. To me, it's unfortunate.
Good? Because there's a certain perception within the Ghanaian space that apart from qualifying to the World Cup for 3 times and winning the Under-20 World Cup, there was basically nothing that the administration of Kwesi Nyantakyi did that was a success.
No, people, let me tell you, the type of job that we did, why would there be clarion call for Kwesi's return?
Are people calling for his return?
You are behaving as if you are not in Ghana.
No, I am in Ghana, but
even the Speaker of Parliament said it. I'm not saying. The Speaker of Parliament said it. Nabila, you never know what you have until you lose it. You never know what you have until you lose it. I've been a proud member of that administration and no regrets.
Of ever been part of that administration?
Yeah.
Let's get the other conversation, Palmer. I don't know what you make of the number 12 expose, but I do recall that you were one of the voices of dissent on radio and television about the work done. You were one of the few people who actually spoke even against government when they said they were going to liquidate the Ghana Football Association. Tell us, did number 12 take Ghana football a step backwards or forward? Because we have a new administration in charge and people are always calling for change.
We moved into negatives. If we had ground zero, we now dipped down and moved into negatives. And it's very, very obvious.
Are you saying this because you are part of the association, or if you were a neutral person, would you take that position?
You mean if I was in the saddle?
If yes.
My course would have been different from what is happening. And it's certainly that.
What would there have been?
Monumental changes at the FA. Monumental. Nabila, I must say that I'm proud to have served under Kwesi. I learned a lot of things under him. And this would have made me...
What were they?
At least quality leadership. Quality leadership. A leader who is very submissive to the core. I will not hold myself and be saying all manner of things. You have to give respect to the very people who put you at the saddle.
But you were also a voice. If my sources within the FA were anything to go by, you were also a voice at executive committee meetings. You stood up and challenged the decisions of Kwesi.
Yeah.
So if he was such a submissive leader, why were you challenging him at executive committee meetings?
That is one thing that people don't get it. When I say I'm in support of this administration, let's say Kurt's administration, it will be better for me to critique issues rather than to engage in praise singing. What the person has veered off is putting, we are going into a ditch, yet you are praising the person. That shouldn't be the case. And that was my modus operandi throughout my stay at the executive committee level. When you go to Kwesi and you ask him, if he's mentioning 3 people who can lead the FA, my name will pop up first. So if he didn't like the criticisms that I labeled against him, why would he point me as
he pointed you as someone who can lead the FA?
Because of the qualities. Because a leader...
When did he do that?
Seek, in executive council meetings, committee meetings, he said it.
Okay.
To the park. So that's why I like this man. When he signed the Star Times deal, I told him, point blank, President, you've signed a very bad deal. I told him. And this is somebody who is being referred to as Kwesi's pet. I told him.
Are you his pet?
Pardon me?
Are you Kwesi's pet? Because you just mentioned that you refer to as his pet.
No, one thing that I enjoy about myself is that I'm not manipulative. No, you can't manipulate me. I will say it as it is or as situated, rather than praising whoever. Look, Nabila, I was targeted by the expose, that is 12.
Number 12.
2 people came to me, they were not successful. They were not successful. Which means that apart from being the voice for the voiceless, you couldn't corrupt me.
Why was the Star Times deal a bad deal that he signed?
If I can remember...
I can record the figures for you. It was $17.9 million for 10 years.
Yeah, the figures... I've forgotten the rare issues, but I gave 7 solid reasons that the deal was bad. 7 solid reasons.
Can you recall one?
Oh, certainly the amount involved. For those number of years, if you go and sign that amount, I don't think you bring the kind of football development that we had wished for. But they had gone to sign it. So I told the PAC or the executive committee meeting that we have already gone to sign. So now the most prudent thing to do as an investment banker is to look at how to make the deal to work. And Kwesi threw the question back to me. Palmer, how do we make the deal to work? And I answered it. That is when he turned to the PAC. He said, that is why I like Palmer. He will not go and hide and be saying these things behind you. He will say it openly.
Oh, so he said those things in the presence of other executive committee members?
And that is the real me. I mean, in Kwesi Apia's issue, you know.
Yeah, I remember so well.
Yeah.
But do you regret ever saying that Kwesi Appiah was not cut off for the Black Stars coaching job?
People misquoted me. People misquoted me. I analyze Ghanaian coaches in general. And you see, this was the time that Kwesi Appiah was being given to us to go and win AFCON. I don't have any problem with that. But my beef was that if you can give Kwesi Appiah 2 terms, let's say 4 years, to win the AFCON, I'm all for it. But you don't appoint the person knowing that you have not equipped him with the necessary tools to go and win AFCON. And you are challenging the person to go and win AFCON.
But he was appointed in April 2017, and that clearly meant that he had lots of time because the next AFCON was going to be in 2019.
How well equipped was he?
But how many years often do you give to your coaches? You've always given your coaches 2 years. The first time you gave him the job and he took us to the semi-final in 2013, you gave him 2 years.
Check the history of Osam Dodu and CK Jemfi and how they were able to win the AFCON for Ghana.
So you don't regret, so you don't regret ever saying that?
I met him when I was the Blasters chairman.
Committee chairman.
Yeah. And apologized to him that I should have found a better way of addressing the issue.
Why did you apologize?
By benefit of hindsight. And told him that Kwesi, we've never worked before. So how did I get a dossier on you? It was the very people that you have worked with. They give me information about.
Did you pay for the information? Because they say you will pay for information from.
No. It was given to me by my colleagues.
Oh, okay.
But I couldn't divulge to him. Then it was there that he nodded to say that, oh, okay, I get you.
At what point did you decide that you want to become GFA president?
I didn't take that decision. And I like that approach. I am a student of contingency management, and within the contingency management or the situational management, you realize that, situational leadership, you don't impose yourself
on people.
I returned from a business trip, I think Cote d'Ivoire, Mauritania, and I think Sierra Leone. When I came, group of executive council members, old executive committee members, approached me and said they feel I have the qualities to lead the FA. And I obliged. I didn't impose myself on the leadership. And when we started and we were moving, they were giving the positive aspect of things that I was doing at the executive committee level. At a point, people felt, Palmer, don't bring him to your emergency committee. He will come and criticize you here and there, whatnot. But this is a close confidant of Kwesi. Yet I wasn't accepted at the executive, emergency committee level because
so you were a close confidant of Kwesi.
Yeah.
It means that
I'm proud of it.
You had lots of stuff to do with him behind the scenes.
No, hardly did I even speak to Kwesi. I quite remember he was having an MCO meeting and I called. They said, "Pama Fremi, Pama Fremi, then it must be very important." Within a year, I could call Kwesi 3 times, a whole year. How can this guy be his pet? A whole year, 3 times. A whole year.
How come?
He returned from World Cup.
Yes.
Pama, oh, hey, I said, I'm in the house. And call baby, I'm coming to you. He marched straight to my house and said, "This is $1,000 of my per diem that I took from him. You also have it and go and use it to drink."
He came and gave you his per diem.
Part of his
per diem. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He gave you his per diem. Why would he do that?
Oh, for standing in for him when the issues
is that why
had escalated
people,
beyond a certain level.
Is that why many people actually claim that he was
no.
you people off?
Kwesi is kind to a fault. Kwesi is kind to a fault. He wasn't bribing me. When you say bribe, you are giving money before performing the tax.
Yeah.
I never had. You see, when there is an issue, I don't have to call Kwesi. Oh, President, this is what they are saying. What do I say? No, I'm not that kind of person. I will tackle the issues head on. So, certainly, he will be listening in. And so, this is what Pama is doing. This is what Pama. I will not call him even in the course of my defense. No. But I will provide or deal with the issues the way it should be dealt with. And that is the real me.
That's what they call you one man soldier? I was a 1,000.
You have to be strong.
But that quest to become GFA president did not materialize. In the course, you were disqualified for making certain comments, and in fact, for owing the GFA money
under bizarre circumstances. Let's put it that.
How were the bizarre circumstances? I remember I wrote to FIFA about the request of the normalization committee for you to pay them a percentage of Joseph Pinsel's transfer and that of Gabriel Leve. I remember so well. I remember FIFA, in fact, FIFA did not even respond via email. They called me on phone to speak to me on it. And that was where I realized that they had also written to the normalization committee to respond. And you recall there were stories outside that some anonymous journalist has written to FIFA and all these things. Why? You signed on to that regulations of the FA that says that if you transfer a player, you give a percentage to the GFA. So why did you not pay that money?
Yeah, I don't have any problem with paying the 10%. No, I don't have any problem.
Why did you not pay if you don't have problem?
Joseph Pencil transferred outside the jurisdiction of Ghana.
You've said it many times.
Yes, and that is the truth. You see, within our TMS, the one we use to transfer
matching system,
any activity that is conducted, the system records it. So we call it trill. It will give you the trill.
Yeah.
Belgian FA request for ITC from Ghana Football Association. That was the trill. GFA failed to respond to the ITC request. So GFA, they actually failed to respond to the ITC request. 15 days is there. 15 days after that, FIFA invoked their own article, Annex 3.
And they will issue a provisional.
And issue the provisional ITC. Asks if a member association can issue a provisional ITC. So the GFA, they failed to issue the ITC. So why would I pay you for services not that?
No. When you were sending Joseph Pinsel to Frank Veros, didn't you pay the FA? They did not release the ITC. I
paid.
So if
I paid for the ITC to be released, then you see, technically speaking, any player, whether on loan or permanent transfer, the moment you move outside Ghana, you are deregistered. You are deregistered because a player must be registered with a club. The whole world do.
Are you suggesting that
with a club?
Joseph Pinsel was not registered with Tema Youth?
When he left?
Yes.
He couldn't have been registered with Tema Youth.
So how come the money, when they were buying him, the money came to you?
When you listen, you understand.
Okay.
The moment the player moves out, the player is deregistered.
Okay.
So Jose Painting was not
A player,
of Tema Youth.
Okay.
By federative rights.
Okay.
Mean registration.
Yes.
Okay? But we had economic right in the player. Because the boy went on loan. So the question is, if the player had not been registered by Ghana Football Association, how could he have been a player of Ghana Football Association? And for that matter, 10%. That 10% is paid on players who are registered in Ghana. When he finished with his loan, the boy, upon returning from the loan, Tema Youth should have what? Should have re-registered the boy because he was first deregistered. Are you with me? Tema Youth should have re-registered the boy. We never re-registered the boy. So the boy moved from Hungarian FA to what? To the Belgian FA, because in the FIFA regulations, I see 30 clear months upon expiration of your contract, you remain a member of that particular association for 30 clear months. So as at that time, Jose Painting was a member of the Hungarian Football Association and not Ghana Football Association.
But he was not a registered player of Frank Veros because his loan had expired.
He was a registered player of the Hungarian FA. You don't get it.
So what it means is that no, it only means that that player does not have any binding contract with Frank Veros.
Yeah.
So if he has no binding contract with Frank Veros, he has no binding contract with Tema Youth.
We had binding contract with him, so we had economic rights.
But you just mentioned that he was deregistered.
No, he was deregistered, so we didn't have the federative right. He was deregistered.
So now explain to us how the money came to you, because I'm a bit confused.
Yeah, because we had economic right over the player. So the moment we engage in the matching, the two clubs will match their information. When we engage in the matching, then we went low for the FAs to deal. So the Belgian FA dealt with our FA, and our FA failed to issue the ITC.
In your quest to become GFA president, on a hindsight, do you think you should have paid that money?
No. You do settings on principle. You don't say, because I want to be leader, I have to pay my way out. No, you don't do that. Live exemplary life or give exemplary leadership to people who follow. Those issues that they brought were not tangential.
Are you
people owed the FA. Yeah, they stood for the FA presidential slot.
But Mr Okraku recently said
people with worse records.
Mr Okraku recently said that anyone who pays the FA, they will pursue them for it.
But the balance sheet doesn't show. It's not only Tema Youth that is showing. It's rhetoric. That's what we call rhetorical statement.
You see what? Do you think you should have, when you appeared before the elections committee, do you think you should have at least challenged some of the things, because media report had already suggested
when they had disqualified.
Yes,
when they disqualified, they didn't allow me.
Because definitely we do recall that people had said that when you appeared. No, in fact, it even came from CAS that when you appeared before the committee, you did not challenge anything. You had claimed that
you were. It's not true. It's not true. The tape, the recorded tape, is there. It's never true.
So you challenged.
You see?
Were you targeted?
Certainly.
By who?
By the powers that be.
Who were the powers that be?
Nabila, when the statute of the FA, the new one, was at the draft level, someone called me from the FA, said, we wanted to meet you personally on the statutes, new statutes of the FA. I said, no, statutes does not concern my persona, as Wilfred Kwaku Osei. It certainly concerns Tema Youth as a Division 1 club. So if you want to discuss any issue, why don't you gather all Division 1 48 clubs? Then we all share ideas on things that affect us. I may go and point to one aspect of the statutes that may not inure to the benefit of Tema Youth. But of what consequential effect will it be? So call all of us to meet. They say it's too known. Why would they direct us to what?
Who called you at the FA?
I will not mention the name.
Why would you not mention the name?
I got that person. I had photograph of that person meeting some candidate on the 23rd of October 2019.
Who is that person?
Prior to elections.
Who is that person?
I never know that person, which means I'm not vindictive.
Is that, no, relax. Chairman, we're having a conversation here. First, you said the powers that be.
Yeah.
You've not mentioned who the powers that be that disqualified you. Now, you are also alleging that...
I'm not alleging. Everything I've stated is the basic fact.
But if you're not able to put out
the picture,
who that person is...
you mean the picture?
No, I'm not asking for the picture.
Just to mention it?
Yes, who was that person?
I have pictorial evidence to that effect.
And a nominalization committee member? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. After the elections...
Dr. Kofi Amwa?
That, I won't mention it. After the elections, that person called a candidate.
Now do fully noted?
And said, my candidate won.
Now do fully
So the person had got a candidate.
Is it now do fully noted?
I wouldn't mention the name.
No, but the way it was Osei Kufo, Dr. Kofi Amwa. Now do fully noted.
It could be the three of them. But certainly
so
not.
So all of them. So all of them met.
Not Osei Kufo. Not Osei Kufo.
But Dr. Kofi Amwa.
You heard the tape. The tape was there.
Now the fully noted. Okay, Dr. Kofi Amwa.
Yeah, it could be both.
No, it couldn't be both because the tape I heard, it was Dr. Kofi Amwa who mentioned that this Palmer guy.
Others might have played roles.
Because
leading to
Kofi Amwa mentioned that this Palmer guy. This Palmer guy.
You know,
are you referring to that tape?
Yeah.
So he met some candidates. Yeah. Was it journalists or candidates?
No, it's not. No, I wouldn't say Kofi Amwa.
But you said?
Please, it's not Kofi Amwa who met the candidate. It's not Kofi Amwa. I have not said anyone.
If it's not Kofi Amwa, then it's now the falling off.
It could be. I have the pictures.
She and who? George Free.
Let's leave it as that. No, George was not part of it.
Wow, that's quite an interesting one.
But I didn't want to nail him, the person, upon all the things that they did to discuss. I didn't want to nail the person because you have to be magnanimous when it comes to some of these issues. The FA presidency was not president at all costs. I wanted to serve my country at a certain level. Look at the fabricated ethics committee. Instead of answering that, yes, I've been charged. I was never charged and convicted.
I'm just coming to that point.
By the ethics committee.
But you shouldn't have made that point, did you? Do you think you should have made the point that because Ghana failed to pay indemnities? In fact, what is
indemnity is an acceptable thing within our FIFA regulations. So when I say that we failed to pay indemnity, it's an ethical issue. Even the ethics committee chairman, when George Free came or appeared before them, he told him, George, had you listened to the tape? He said, oh, I'm just listening to it. But is there anything that is explosive by the statement that Palmer made? He said, no. Listening to it, there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. Why were you called in the first place by the
they asked me
ethics committee
to apologize. No, certainly. Come and assist in investigation. It's different from being charged. I wasn't charged. Otherwise, I would have lost my position as executive committee member for misconduct if I was charged and convicted.
But around that time, many had claimed that the FA was being managed by family and friends and cronies, so it was difficult for them to actually take you out. In fact, they had said you people were powerful.
Nabila, when they listened to the tape, they said, Palmer, this doesn't mean you will not defend the FA.
But CAS agreed. CAS agreed with that statement.
That's another matter.
If CAS agrees with that
let me tell you something. Let me quote.
It was in a bad taste.
Let me quote somebody who was directly involved in the running or the normalization, that the decision was going to be monumental. It was going to change a lot of things in Ghana football. So if it turned out to be different things.
So if so if you thought that
that person said it, I didn't say it.
Who is that person?
I won't mention it.
Chama, you're not being fair to this conversation.
I'm being fair.
You're not being fair to this conversation.
You see, you have to protect your image. You have to also protect certain persons who divulge information to you.
Did they feel that you were the candidate who could win the elections?
I don't know what might have pre-informed most of the normalization committee members. The moment I finished with my policy statement, they saw that this is the winner. It was clear. It was clear. Well, this guy has a message. He has all the qualities to be there. This is the winner. That is where they started.
So if you're the winner, why would they stop you from winning?
Oh, they have to manipulate.
Why would they manipulate?
Because
there were as many as 6 or 7 candidates.
Some of them,
why Palmer?
They will target the potential winner. They will target the potential winner.
You just mentioned something. You just mentioned something quite interesting, that they had interest in certain candidates.
BNI released a report.
I remember.
Who was in the lead?
You were in the lead, and Nana Yamponsa was the dark horse.
So I'm not just speculating. And the guy has gone to deliver his policy statement. The policy statement was spot on. You were there.
Was it because of your policy statement or because of the rumors that you were being backed by the former FA president?
Kwesi I never attended any rally with Kwesi. He never campaigned for me. If he had done so, it would have been on the quiet. Kwesi would not, at that material moment that he was going through a lot, be behind me. Then they say we went to Doma together. It's a big lie. I went to Doma all by myself. I have the pictures there. Kwesi also went to Doma all by himself. The only thing is that I knew for a fact that anytime he was asked as to who amongst the children was fit, they mention my name, they mention Papse's name. I know the substance that Papse is made up of. Be reminded, we have been in meetings, so we know what each person can do.
You did not win. Kurt won. It's been 3 years since he came into the FA, and he's organized 3 congresses. And I remember the recent one. It was the second time you were even attending his congress, and you had reservations about their financial statement.
Certainly.
Why?
When you look at any financial statement of an institution, it speaks well or bad about that institution. And financial analysts will talk about the quality of the financial statement. Nabila, my kid who just started accounting, when you show balance sheet of a sole proprietor, the person will know that this firm is a sole proprietorship. Because for sole proprietor, it's a capital, add profit, less drawings. That is how their capital section is what is structured.
So why is it a problem?
There's a problem. The problem here is that company limited by a guarantee is a company. So you go to the capital section of the company limited by guarantee. Ab initio, it should be able to tell you that this is the financial statement of a company limited by guarantee. So your capital structure will tell you the type of company that you are. Are you with me? You go to the Ghana FA balance sheet and you have accumulated capital. There is nothing like accumulated capital in our 2019 Act or Act 179, the previous one. There's nothing like accumulated capital. Those limited by shares, you have stated capital. And Ghana, instead of reserves, we do surplus. Are you getting it? So all these elements will have to show on the balance sheet. When it shows on the balance sheet, the moment you take it, that balance sheet will inform you that this is the balance sheet of a company. But we have accumulated funds.
So if you have accumulated fund, does that make the statement wrong? Does it mean that monies at the FA are not in the right order?
No, about the quality of the financial statement that is being churned out. And I'll when I develop it, UEFA is a registered company limited by guarantee. Go and take their balance sheet, you will see it. FIFA is a registered company limited by guarantee, and they are all non-profit. Go and take their financial statement, then you will understand what I'm telling you. Ghana Football Association is limited by guarantee and also a non-profit making organization. Go and take our balance, and you will see a complete dichotomy between what we are presenting and what they are presenting.
So I want to understand. Even if they present it wrongly, doesn't mean that there's something wrong.
There is everything wrong because that accumulated fund could be used as a balancing figure. If the account fails to balance, they will use it as a balancing figure. But when you have association capital, as FIFA has described this, you go and check the financial statement of FIFA will say associations what capital add reserves, but it should have been associations capital which will be consistent unless you have admitted new members and you have taken additional money from them. That is where the association's capital will change. But here the accumulated fund has been altered. So check the FIFA one and you understand what. When they talk of accumulated fund, it connotates operations of a firm that has engaged in what we call single entry. It means there are no proper books of records being kept at the FA. That is the signal. So you remember the auditors or Fred never touched on the accumulated fund because it's untenable. So, it's not done. So
it means that the FA they don't keep proper accounts. Doesn't mean that there's something wrong with the finances.
That is what the financial statement is suggesting. And I say, come off it because it doesn't give a good image of the FA. I spoke about the assets, especially building. Building appreciates in value. Yeah. So no matter how you bring the theoretical this thing here and whatnot, it will not suffice. The fact of the matter is that you are declaring intangible asset of 12,700 and something Ghana cedis. This is immaterial to be an asset. Meanwhile, your expenditure is more than the asset that you are declaring. So give the building what we call proper valuation. So you do revaluation. When you do the revaluation and you approach any investor, the investor will know that this FE is of substance. Yeah. Because if you have assets worth about 80 million Ghana cedis or $80 million, that person can give the association money for us to operate. Go through the financial statement and it's laughable. I saw Glow money being acknowledged as a revenue. I said, how is that possible? It's not possible in accounting. Glow sponsorship happened some years back. Yeah. And in accounting, we have what we call we have accrual concept. Whether you have received the money or you have not received the money, whether you have paid the expenditure or you have not paid, acknowledge it that this sponsorship pertains to 2013 and not what 2021.
So they shouldn't have added it to their current revenue.
It's not part of your revenue. How could that be part of? So it simply means you are realizing income on cash basis, and you cannot do that. Who does that? It's not done. Judgment debt as an expenditure. How is it possible? If I owe you and I come and pay, is it an expense? It's not an expense. So all these point to the fact that we have quality issues with the financial statement that was submitted to Congress. Are you getting it?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me quickly veer off and talk about the budget. President Mr Okraku engaged in politics. Look at the president's speech. Yes. You have his picture. Is it done? I've never been to annual general meeting or a corporate environment where the president or the chief executive of the has his picture as a cover. No, what is normally done is that first page, if the president is going to give the speech, they will put his passport copy at the first page, but not a cover page. It's not politics. He made a lot of statements that is political.
I suggesting he can't make politics.
Why would you do politics with corporate governance? We are talking about sensitive issues that affect the operations of the FA. You brought a whole budget. There was no capital expenditure budget. Yet you say you are going to acquire pickups and give it to the RFAs. Where is it in the budget? They should show me where they have it in the budget. You say you are going to construct a whole technical center, make it anew, change the scope at Ghanaman. Where is it sitting in the budget. Nothing on capital expenditure. So if this is not campaign, what else can you term this? It's surely campaign. Look at their budget, and I will tell you, budget, we have budgeting and budgetary control. The process of budgeting is different from budgetary control. Are you getting it? You don't have to wait till the end of the year for you to know that your budget will not materialize. So what people do is that they will have a cash flow statement. Yeah, yeah. The cash flow statement is compartmentalized. You have either into quarters or into months. So that by the end of the month, the finance committee can go and sit and see if we are meeting targets. That is how come when the government of Ghana presents its budget to Parliament, there is a mid-year review. So there should be an avenue for the budget to be reviewed. But they have lumped everything. You cannot see what is to be achieved.
Incompetency at the FA?
Oh, certainly if this is not incompetency, what else would I say? The budget portrays a lot.
It means that you were part of the team that went and appointed an incompetent auditor to manage the
you voted.
You voted, yes. So if you were part of
I don't have any problem with that.
Majority carried the vote. So you appointed an incompetent auditor to manage your affairs.
The auditor?
Yes.
The auditor was imposed on us.
How? Because I was at that Congress.
Check that Congress. We didn't appoint him. He was imposed on us. They chose it. They chose the auditor. Go and read it. They chose him. This is my choosing. Nobody appointed. It became an issue.
Wow.
We didn't choose him. No, we didn't choose him. They say KPMG failed to respond. Then another one, PWC. When you compare this, and this, we would like to deal with this. Why is it that the auditor couldn't come and answer?
But still, you approved it. They approved. It was approved. I was at that Congress.
It was imposed. Just as he wanted to roller coast the financial statement and the budget this year. And we go to a whole Congress. Sponsorship has been obtained by Ghana Football Association for the clubs. Nobody has cited the agreement in the contract. But some of us who have been playing with figures, I can confidently tell you that that Bear Power sponsorship is not more than $1 million.
Why?
Oh. It's not more than $1 million.
Just tell us, why is it not more than $1 million?
How can you give me 2 million? And you say activation is what? It's 1 million. How are you going to capture that in your books? In your books, you can only declare $1 million as the sponsorship figure. In accounting, we have allowable expenditure and non-allowable expenditure. If it's advertising or promotion, it has to appear as promotion and advertising. You cannot lump that and say that that is part of sponsorship. So within the books or records of the FA, how much have we received for the sponsorship? And clubs are getting 25,000 cool like that out of $2 million? No. In the Glow sponsorship that we had, 3 million was for the sponsorship. Activation was 3 million, but that wasn't part of the FA because you see, you have to create a dustbin. That money has never been to the FA.
But no.
So why would you say that you have given
you've
the
not
FA
been
2
fair
million?
to this FA. They've got so many sponsorships.
Which one?
Recently they signed a deal with Flora. Just mentioned Bed Power. Now they're signing a deal with Mara Metaverse.
That cryptocurrency thing.
No, is it a cryptocurrency company?
Go and sign an illegality and you say you have signed sponsorship. It's an illegality. SEC has pronounced, the Bank of Ghana they've also given their position on cryptocurrency. Why would you do that? That every sponsorship that is coming to the FA, there's a question mark on it. The same happened to the Macron deal. Then it metamorphosed into Temple. We knew, some of us, we knew for a fact that we were buying our own balls. FA was using our own money, to buy balls for us. Yes, they say Macron was giving a sponsorship. How is that possible?
You're kind of suggesting that there are so many wrongs at the FA, and I don't really know what to make of it.
Before you sign a deal, you see, Nabila, as any leader, somebody asked me, why do you think you'll be a better leader? I say, one, the quality of the decision is very important. Then you surround yourself with quality people. I've forgotten the management, somebody who define management. He said, you are managing people. So if you have bad people following you, the kind of information or decision that you
So
make
Cat has
will not
bad
be of-
followers.
The quality is low.
Cat
can
has
tell you.
bad followers.
Otherwise, why would you go and be dealing with cryptocurrency and say I've brought sponsorship? It's just like our former headmaster who went and
So
bought
would
half,
you want to replace
the
Cat?
resource.
Would you want to replace Cat as GFA president?
We are not there yet. I've not considered any political change in my fortunes.
But even if you're not there, based on what Cass said,
I'm hearing he says he will never clear me. Anybody who tells
Who
me
will
that,
never clear you?
Anybody who tells me, I say, oh, tell him that I'm not subjected to his clearance or not. No, that is raising himself too much above a certain level. No, he should lower himself.
Do you have issues with Cat?
No, not at all.
Have you ever fought him at an ESCO meeting?
We have engaged in exchanges, but Kwesi stopped it.
You are going to fight?
No.
It means that you've had issues with him for many years. So most of these things you are saying, people can just look at it and go like,
no, there was a
this
report,
man already has issues.
There was a report that he vehemently kicked against it. And I was going to respond, and Kwesi stopped me. Because he knew that what will come out of my mouth
But
will not be good.
the Cass verdict can clear Cass verdict, because Cass verdict also said that the normalization committee had the power to disqualify you.
Me?
That yes.
But
Based on the things they raised.
Can you point to any part of the report that is suggesting or implicating me that I cannot contest for future elections? Point to one.
No, there's none. It means that you are hopeful. You are hopeful that you can contest.
I say I will never impose myself
the next elections
on people.
The next election is 2023. If you're not contesting, do you want Ket Okraku
I will support another candidate, not Ket. That one, somebody who will do such a thing to my club, now I'll go and support him. I'll be a hypocrite to be doing that.
Is that why you were part of the team that went and met in Kumasi and wanted to change
They say it's payback time.
Who is paying who?
For Dreams, what happened to Dreams? It's payback time. That's why they are doing all those things. I don't care. Nabila, football cannot put pegs to my progress.
It's because you've made so much money from football. That's why you think.
Not that. But as you said, I'm versatile and I can always adapt and adjust to a different environment. No, football cannot stop me. That is what he doesn't appreciate. Oh, you're good to my youth. We are going to collapse this club. By backing a false claim, somebody who has never trained a player, he should go to Cape Coast.
Recently, you took the GFA to Cass again.
Yeah, we are there.
You just mentioned the first one didn't go through. This one went through. How did that happen? But just a quick one. We just need to wrap up the conversation pretty quick on that one. Why are you dragging the FA to Cass? Because they have asked you to pay some money to some club that also played a role in the...
Ask anybody who is into football. How can a club that is not on the player passport claim that they've trained the boy at a particular point in the boy's career? The player passport determines those who have trained the player over the period. So how can anybody lay that claim?
You appealed and you lost, so it means you have to pay.
Which one?
You appealed the decision of the GFA, and then that's why you went to Cass.
I've not lost at Cass.
No, I mean you've not lost at Cass, but I'm just saying that you appealed the decision of the FA.
At the appeals level, at the FA.
In the first place, why don't you want to give them money? Whether they played a role in or not, we all know Palmer to be generous. I remember prior to the FA elections, you were generous.
Generous with $1 million. No, I don't think that generosity will.
You built a mosque in Bekwai, or you
assisted.
You assisted in building a mosque. In fact, you gave money to clubs, women clubs in the northern region. So your generosity...
One thing about life is that anything that is directed towards the work of God, contribute to your conduct. I intend to even do more. Yeah, I intend to do more.
My final conversation, let's go to the World Cup. We are going to the World Cup.
It's a national assignment. We wish the Blasters very well. We know if the coaches are going to be meticulous in their selection process, Ghana abounds in talent that can at least get us out of the group. I'm sounding a reminder to the coaches that in any tournament, you are as good as your squad list. If the squad list is not good, or you pack it not on merit, then be prepared to come home early. So the coaches should give us a good squad, and the rest will fall in place. We should not go into this contest trying to just be part of the numbers. We should plan the World Cup so that we make an impact. Because I believe in the approach that we use the World Cup as a project to earn more revenue for the FA.
That's why they are securing sponsorship, and you said they are dealing in illegality.
No, the sponsorship, what FIFA will give you, no sponsorship can give you
that kind of money.
Kind of money.
That's about $12 million.
So we'll get to quarterfinals, semifinals, and the rest.
But with Otoado, Chris Hilton, George Boateng, GD Dramani, is a possibility?
I don't have any problem with the squad.
A strong technical team?
Yes, they are a strong technical team. But nobody should try and influence them to take a decision that will be challenged later.
Try and influence them. Were you influencing the decision of player selection?
The coach will have to come and rationalize why a given player has been chosen.
So if the coaches are supposed to rationalize to the FA, is it a wrong thing to do?
We have heard comments from leadership, and we know what is going on.
Comments from who?
Leadership.
Who are the leadership?
When somebody says, I told them to choose this person.
Kurt is the leader of the FA, so if other members of the association does that...
Odo Safo is part of the leadership at the FA.
Yes, Randy Abe is part of leadership.
Yes.
Dr. Tonoben is part of leadership. Samuel Enim Adam is part of the leadership.
I'm not referring to Kurt.
But do you think it is possible that an executive committee member can influence?
The person said it to my hearing.
What about if that person was just bad-mouthing the FA for you? What if that person was just bad-mouthing his leader for you?
Nabila, there is no speculation.
No, but you're taking it hook, line, and sinker. Probably the person might have a different interest. That's what the person
when a building collapses, you don't have to ask whether the ceiling was part of it or the roof was part of it. The main building has collapsed. And you are asking, well, the ceiling is down. Huh?
So this rhetorical question. My final question, how far do you think we can go at the World Cup? How far?
We should be able to make it semi-final. That is if you do the right things.
What are they?
Selection or merit. It's very important.
Selection or merit. Very important.
The squad list.
If you want to go as far as you want in the FIFA World Cup. It's quite an exhaustive conversation with Wilfred Kwaku Osei. One interesting thing that I did not even touch on was about your decision to go and engage some people, some meeting in Kumasi to change the FA statutes, that they were going to change pyramid.
This was an extraordinary congress that we attended.
So what has become of those? What have become of those changes?
At the appropriate time, we will raise it. At the appropriate time, if somebody is trying to be disingenuous,
doesn't mean that all the things you did have not been accepted. And
that is what it looks like. But we'll formulate another line of policy on that particular matter.
Why are people trying to push Kurt out of his office before he's...
They're not pushing him out of the office. We are just... Football is about regulations. So we are just trying to put the appropriate laws and regulations in place. And I don't think there's anything wrong.
I heard you people tried impeaching him. Is it true?
No, I will never do that.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a brother. And I don't think I'll be part of any process that will impeach him.
Hey, brother, you fight.
Brothers fight. Even twins, they fight.
Wilfred Kwaku Osei, our guest on this special conversation on the Joy News channel. I am Muftawu Nabila Abdulai.